taking their seats, please? Steve, I'll have you over here for a moment.
We're all men of the age.
We are. If you have a cell phone or a pager, nobody has pagers anymore. But turn it off or set it to stun, you know.
That was on my to-do list this morning.
Right, that's the old Star Trek. Make it do not disturb because inevitably, you know you're here, somebody doesn't know you're here, and it rings, and then people go, oh, sure. You know you're here. Would the ribbons please let us? The ribbons just about the right of the head. So please repeat after me. Baruch atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam. Dayan. Ha'emet. Praise you, Lord our God, Holy Spirit, through this judge of truth.
Now, if you can, I'd have you rip the ribbon a little bit from the bottom up, just tear it along. They're hard to get started, but once you get it started, it's way down.
Got it. Okay.
I'll take the seats again.
Baruch Dayan Ha'emet, we praise the Judge of Truth. And let us begin with Psalm 121, which has subject matter which is great for photographs. Asai enai el haharim me'ai yavo Ezri me'im Adonai aseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yitain amot raglecha al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha ad yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka ve'erech balayla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra yishmoret nafshecha. Adonai yishmar tzilcha v'oecha me'ata v'ad olam. I lift up mine eyes unto the mountains. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is your guardian. He is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. He will guard your soul, your going and your coming. And together let us recite in the English the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. It's a privilege to call forward Irving's son, Eddie, to speak some words about his father.
Good morning. So I tried to do this at my mother's funeral. It was very difficult She died so young and had been so sick for so long that I could barely get through it. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to do this today. But then it struck me that as much of a shock as it is that my father is gone, he proved his doctors wrong. They told him after that heart attack he had 15 years to live. Unless, and my Aunt Lec, who's very much into health, will appreciate this, he did exactly what they said, which is walk on the treadmill or walk for 2 miles a day and cut all fat out of his life. And then maybe he'd get a few extra years. And Kathy would probably know better than me, but I think he got an extra 15 to 20 years out of that, because my father, if given a task, he followed it. So, as sad as we all are today, and as sad as I am today, standing next to my father in shock and disbelief that he is gone, I want to remind us all that we were blessed with his presence far beyond what he had been told, due to some wonderful doctors, due to his fortitude, and of course due to the glory of God that blessed him with extra life. So please keep that in mind as I make my remarks. And I'll keep my remarks short. I worked for a very famous politician in Los Angeles. He gave me some very good advice. He said, "Sonny, nobody ever criticized me for giving a speech that was too short." So I just have a few remarks I want to share that came to me. First, I want to thank the rabbi for his words of condolence and comfort. God puts people into positions for a reason, and your presence it sets a tone and a feeling that is appreciated by me and by my entire family. So thank you so much for being here today. Having worked for politicians my entire adult life and recently having been one, I know it is a risk to list names when giving brief remarks, but I'm going to attempt to do so please forgive me if I have omitted anyone. I want to begin by thanking my sister Kathy Somers, my uncle Harvey Somers, and my cousin Jennifer Weiser for helping to arrange the memorial today and the reception at our family home, to which you are all invited. Now to my dad, Irv. I called my Uncle Steve to ask for advice on what to say today. And as always, his advice was perfect. He said, quote, "Your dad was a humble man. I will be very moved that so many people have taken the time to come and celebrate his life today." End quote. And he would. Thank you, Uncle Steve. For those who have visited our home of over 50 years, you will see two obvious collections that reflect the man who my dad was. The first are all his projects, contraptions, and creations. My father had a creative mind that never stopped learning. He did not care about things being fancy. He cared about them being interesting and personal. The second thing you will notice, and this is really the most important, is that just about every surface in our home is covered with pictures. I suppose it is fortunate, Uncle Harvey, that our family business was photography. Most of the pictures are not about things, with the exception of a few cars. They are pictures of people, because more than anything, my father loved the people in his life, family and friends alike. He spent every day looking at videos and pictures on his computer of the people and experiences that touched his heart and meant so much to him. So your presence today is in effect a recreation of our home, and you are all a part of our extended family. I want to mention a few family members who are with us today and some who are not. I want to thank my amazing wife, Anna, who always reminds me that life does not end with our time here on earth, but that there is a heaven that awaits us all. Thank you. My daughter Rosa Alexandra, named for Dad's father Alex, is the bravest person I know and was truly the light of my dad's life. My sister Kathy has always been smarter than me, which you can see by the books if you visit her home, and has always been full of love and caring for others, especially my mother in her time of illness, for which again I want to say thank you. We lost my mother Joan roughly 25 years ago, but I would not be the man I am today without the love and guidance she provided. If someone calls me Edward Allen Somers, to this day I think I am in trouble. That is good parenting. My sister and I were so fortunate to be raised with a large extended family, and I will mention just a few people. Dad's amazing parents, Arthur, Alex, and Doris, and my mom's parents, Stanley and Phyllis Nathanson. Amazing people that touched all of our lives and made us who we are. My dad's brothers, Harvey, here with us today, who I love dearly, like another father. And with him, his force of nature, Aunt Lec. And Bobby and his amazing wife, Miko, beloved, and both who left us too soon, but are always in our hearts and in our minds. My mom's brother, Steve Nathanson, and his wonderful, wonderful wife, Aunt Pat. Again, another father to me. Thank you both for all that you've given to our family and continue to give to our family. Kathy would not be who we are without you. All of my dad's beloved nieces and nephews, and he really did love you all. Jenny, Jeremy, Jessica, Lisa, Tinka, Marina, Andrea, and Becky and Andrea. You were like his children. And of course, all his grandnieces and nephews. My father loved children probably more than anything else in life, and you were all part of his family and touched him and meant so much to him. There are endless other family members I could and should mention, but you can see their pictures, as I said, on the walls of our home. So many friends also became family to my dad, and I want to thank all of you here today, those who have sent condolences, those we have lost, but added so much to the life of my sister and I. My dad has left a legacy behind. It is not a collection of expensive things. It is a collection of people, and it is a collection of memories. It is all of you. God bless you all, and thank you for being here today.
And to those words spoken as a prayer, let us say Amen. We gather this morning to fulfill a solemn obligation and a loving obligation to pay respects to your dearly Irving Somers. And this gathering is a comfort and a support for the family. Irving was a mensch. He was a good guy. And when the temple stood in Jerusalem on the holiest day of the year, Yom Kippur, it's a reminder of Irving. On Yom Kippur, when the high priest would go into the Holy of Holies, the most intimate part of the sanctuary, he would offer prayers on behalf of himself that he would be worthy to represent the congregation and he would be cleansed of his transgressions and sins. Then he offered prayers on behalf of his family, that they would be cleansed of their transgressions and sins. And then he offered prayers on behalf of the whole people Israel, the whole Israelite people, that they would be cleansed of their transgressions and sins. And in the Talmud, this comes from Yoma chapter 7, verse 1. It's the tractate that has to do with Yom Kippur. It teaches that the Israelites would wait for him to come out. And when he came out, he would bring a text, he'd have a Sefer Torah, and then he would read a section from the Sefer Torah. He would read a section from the Torah, and then he would conclude by saying, "More than I have read to you is written therein." And so it is today. Far more than we can ever describe is your dear Irv. The love you feel for him, you express by your spoken and your unspoken remembrances of him. It's not the rabbi alone who delivers a eulogy. Each person here, your presence, your prayers, your tears, your laughter, they all extol his virtues and his qualities. We are poorer for his loss, and at the same time, we are much richer for the wealth of memories he has bequeathed to us. So Irving was born here in Cleveland on April 5th, 1941. He just celebrated his 83rd birthday. He was one of 3 children born to Arthur and Doris, both of blessed memory. Irv, the eldest, the middle child, Robert, of blessed memory, and Harvey. Harvey said of his dear brother, "We lived our entire life here in Cleveland Heights. He went to OU, and then he realized pretty soon he wasn't meant to be an engineer. And so then he went to State University of New York at Farmingdale, and he wanted to go there for photographic repair, because of course, you know, it was a family business. And he did repair. And then Harvey said there was a very famous photographer that came in. I had never heard of this guy. It just goes to show you what you know about what you know, and what you don't know. Yosef Karsh. And you said he did portraits of what? John Kennedy, Marilyn Monroe, Golda Meir, Winston Churchill. So now I have to go look, and we all should go look. And there was something wrong with his camera. The bellows on his camera wasn't connected onto the track the way it needed to be. And if most of us are old enough to remember those big portrait cameras with the bellows, and well, Irv was scared, and Irv fixed it. And that was, he had a tremendous skill. His year at OU, he met Joni. That was probably about 1960. They met at a party at Hillel, or at least that's what the family says. They remember. I mean, it's hard to remember.
There is an alternate story.
Oh, so as everything in Judaism is Talmudic, you know, there's this rabbi says this rabbi says that. What's this rabbi say? But the important thing is they met. Did they meet at OU at the Hillel? No. What's the alternative story?
They met. He was helping unload the car when my folks took Joni to school.
He helped unload the car when your folks took Joni to school. Fraternity House is right across the street. You know what? Yeah, that's great. And maybe even more likely. But that's fantastic. Irving kept up with people all the time. He was the glue. After Joni passed away, he just kept in touch with people. He would call, he would write, he would do all of those things. And as you know, he spent a lot of time collecting photos, and then he got into 3D printing, which is, wow. And as you'll see when you go back to the house, he went from one thing to another. He had many, many projects. Joni was in love of his life. They were always together. They lived in the house that they bought up the road here in the early 60s until now. Bought the house, Harvey said, 1968. I mean, that's a long time. The kids grew up working at the store. He was a hardworking, decent man. Kathy said he was kind and also very set in his ways. It's another way of saying stubborn, strong-willed. Almost all of us have that attribute. You can be kind and helpful, and you're set in those ways to be kind and helpful. And then when there's something that you're supposed to do that you don't want to do, you're also set in your ways. This is the way we are. He was very smart. Kathy said he knew electronics and how to fix things. And a creative problem solver. And she said, I loved watching him think things through. Did he think things out loud? Oh, yeah. So many of us do that. You think you're just talking to yourself. Well, no, you're thinking out loud. You might even be talking to God. He loved to read science fiction, only science fiction. Isaac Asimov, loved Asimov. Kathy said we're still close with one of the caregivers. And I don't remember her name. Bridget. And the family is very, very grateful for Bridget. And his natural inclination was to help people. Harvey recalled that Irv wanted me to get the Lego set with the car engines in it. I mean, not just a Lego set with the plastic little car engines in it. I mean, the real car engines in it. Apparently, that Lego has one of those. So he could play with my grandson, he said. So that, the cars actually go and they move. Apparently, that one, right? You still have any of those? It's somewhere. They're in a box somewhere, which is fine, right? He built miniatures. He built miniatures of downtown Cleveland. He built miniatures of trains. He built miniatures of his mother's house. He built miniatures of his house. Harvey said in 2008, he took our mom into his house after she broke her hip, and he organized a team of workers to care for her. Took care of her for 4 years. It's not something that a lot of people will do. Not only did he call people for their birthdays, he also drove like 3,000 miles to visit the nieces in Kansas City and cousins in California. He put thousands of miles on his car and a lot of money in AT&T's pockets, reach out and touch someone. He was unfailingly positive. He had a great eye. He was a woodworker. And during Passover, the house was full. Growing up, this year Passover will be something different. It'll be a different one. And as you mentioned before, Eddie, he had that heart attack and triple bypass in 1997. And, they said, you might get to age 70. That's what Kathy said anyway. Whether she's smarter than you or not, I don't know. But
It's a memory question.
Right. It's a memory question. Right. He made it far further than that. A couple of emails from people that are far away. Well, one of them is very far away. Buddy Margolis from childhood. I guess he's in England now. If he had cared, he would have been here. I hope you can see this on the internet, buddy, wherever you are. But anyway, he wrote, Irv and I were classmates in college in 1963. No? No? Oh, well then, you know what? It all came through on my computer weird. Wait.
Bud Margolis.
Yeah, did I say Margolis? Hey, look, I'm just going with what you sent me. Well, no, it only matters enough to, all right, well, let me finish going with this, and if it's a different person, you'll tell me. It's a different person? Who is it?
I think that's Bob Bittner.
Bob Bittner? All right. Did Bob Bittner remember the bottles of cream soda, the black and white Corvette cars, his aquarium, and his hobbies?
That might be Jim.
All right.
Well, the three of them were like tied at the
Well, I'll tell you what, whoever remembered this, the Somers always attended the Margolis Pesach Seders. That would have been Margolis. Everyone adored Irv. His smile as big as the Grand Canyon, and he had a heart of gold. And then there's something from Alan, who I don't have his last name. I just have a first name. Alan Kleinman. It's an important time for tears, but it's also an important time for remembrance. And he said, I remember something when I was a small child. I visited your house next to Kane Park, and you and Irv were there, Harvey, and also another boy, the name of that boy I can't remember, but he was picking on me, probably with good reason, because I was such a little brat. And that issue hasn't changed much. But Irv came to my defense, and he stopped that boy from picking on me. Irv was a kind person, and that made me very fond of him. And he wrote, may each person at Irv's memorial find a memory like this to wash away the tears. I don't think this should be too difficult, he wrote. So on April 14th, Irv breathed his last. And now there's no pain or deterioration. There's just rest and wholeness and peace. And just as Shabbat is a time of rest and wholeness and peace, so too for Irving. His soul is returning to God and to be with the souls of his dear wife Joni and friends and ancestors of our people who have passed, his parents. We learn this in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. One day all of us will be together in a time called Olam Haba, the world to come. It is not a physical place. It is a spiritual existence, Olam Haba. And God will take care of the souls of our loved ones, and our souls will be together with our loved ones again. Your memories are filled to overflowing with thoughts of Irving Somers, and we give thanks to God for this gift of life. And although we hoped for more time with him, he had more time than they thought many years ago. And if we have more time with him, we always want it to be in good health. And so we are grateful for the time we had with him, and we thank God. And as you think of Irv, do good mitzvot, do commandments that will devolve to the benefit of others. Take care of one another. Be good people. Because you'll really and truly live your lives and pay tribute to his memory. For only through our deeds can the world be compensated for his loss. And so we conclude with words from the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai Natan, Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevarach. The Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And let us say, Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, yimru, amen. Yase shalom, yase shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. May God, who causes peace to reign in the high heavens, cause peace to rain down upon us, upon all Israel, and upon the soul of our dearly departed Irving Somers. And let us say, Amen. Please rise for El Malei Rachamim. Into your care, O God, we entrust the spirit of Irv Somers. For you keep faith with your children in death as in life. Sustain us that we may meet with serenity the mysteries that lie ahead, knowing that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you, O God, are a friend, a loving friend, in whom we put our trust. You are the light of our life, our hope in eternity. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hametzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kedoshim Hu Tohorim, Kezohar Ki Amazirim, Et Nishmat Irving Somers, Shahalach L'Olamo, Ba'al Harachamim, Yastirehu B'Seiter Kenafav Le'olamim, Vayitzroh B'Yitzroh HaChayim, Et Nishmato, Adonai Hu Nachalato, V'yanuach B'Shalom, Al Mishkavo, V'nomar, Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to our dear Irv Somers. He has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let him find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is his inheritance. May he rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. And in Irv's loving memory, we sanctify God's name as we recite together the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Ba'alma divrach chirutei v'yamelech malchutei, B'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala v'yizman kari v'yimru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mavorach le'olam olamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudesha berichu. Le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran ba'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru Amen. Let the glory of God be extolled. Let his great name be hallowed in the world whose creation he willed. May his kingdom soon prevail in our own day, our own lives, and the life of all Israel. And let us say, Amen. Let his great name be blessed forever and ever. Let the name of the Holy One, blessed be he, be glorified, exalted, and honored, though he is beyond all the praises, songs, and adorations that we can utter. And let us say, Amen. For us and for all Israel, may the blessing of peace and the promise of life come true. And let us say, Amen. May he who causes peace to reign in the high heavens cause peace to rain down upon us, upon all Israel, upon the soul of our dearly departed Irving. And let us say, Amen. Lech kishilacha Adonai, go your way, for the Lord hath called you. Lech v'Adonai ye'imach, go your way, and may God be with you. V'halach lefanecha tzidkecha, Kavod Adonai Yasvecha. May your righteousness go before you, and may the glory of God receive you. Would everyone who is here not wearing a ribbon, please repeat these words after me, speaking them to the mourners. May God console you with all who mourn in Zion and Jerusalem. Hamakom yirachem etchem b'toch she'aved Etzion v'Yerushalayim. The family would like you. I forgot to mention Lovey.
It's okay.
Lovey looks great in that picture. If you care to make donations in his loving memory, please consider first among the places the American Cancer Society. We will be going over to the house, and we will say Kaddish for Irv for a whole month at our synagogue, Temple Israel near Tamid, on Lander Road. Whether any family members attend or not, we'll still say Kaddish for him. So this afternoon, the kids at Hebrew school are saying Kaddish for Irv because they need reps on the Kaddish. And on Sunday at religious school, the kids are going to be saying Kaddish for Irv. And then each Friday night for the next month. It'll be a privilege to do so. And this concludes our service here at the funeral home, and we'll see you over at the house for the shiva, for the mourner's meal. Thank you. My privilege. Hi.
My wife, Tanya.
Janya? Very nice to meet you. Thanks, Steve. Thank you so much. Oh, I wish you were too. Toledo is a nice town. It happens. Is this new rabbi?
Kansas City. We were the congregation whose rabbi ended up in jail.
You what?
A former rabbi ended up in jail for raping so we had a lot of healing. It's been a lot, but our faith gets us through, right? Yeah, some wonderful people. I named Rabbi Jamie Gibson from Pittsburgh. Came out once a month for a year and worked with all of us. You guys are great. Thank you. All right, let's go find the house.
All right.
Yeah, it's all okay. Father has to be. I can only go with what I think I know.
Anybody need a ride here?
Go down in artist choosing for the judge. I must not would have done it without you. I had told you these guys would have done
And I'd never heard that story. I'd never heard that story. I've never heard it. How they met. Never heard that. I didn't know the unloading of the car story.
pleasure preparing to come up and
Yeah.
managing the
Yeah, it was so different for saying it. It was just like sit up there and do.
Life is funny. That had to happen. Even though the school didn't work out for us, I wouldn't be here, right?
well, that's true. All the years is not so long. When Becky was looking to go to college, I was right school because they were going to bring me out.
Because I can tell that there's so many people.
How am I ever going to make that? Becky's worried about that.
It does. Yeah, exactly.
By the way, Becky was wanting to come in.
Whether you're in Florida or I mean, you're
Fly down the whole bill.